school.
Well, it's time now for World Press, and Trixie Ngado is here to give us an in-depth look at news making major headlines globally. Trix, good to see you. Looking lovely today.
Good to see you. Thank you very much. Well, the usual, we're taking a look at some of the papers, sampling them from various continents, just to see what's making headlines, what's the biggest news, and of course, some really corresponds to the news you've already read earlier in the bulletin. So this one is, I think, from yesterday. We're having something on the Pope, the message that he sent out to the people, saying that people need to keep their faith despite all the ills that are going on in the world. And that's right. Then down there we have more from Burundi, whereby a political party has been suspended owing to allegations that they're plotting to have rebels go against the government in one way or the other. So this is the African News website. Let's move on. I'm hoping you could have some papers from today. Let's move on to the next paper. Yeah, so here we're having a paper, the same paper now, today's edition. It's centered on Zimbabwe. So the headline for that says Zimbabwe has okayed the payment of school fees in the form of labor and livestock. Just to give you a picture of how horrible the situation in that country is. So in the rural parts of the country, the education ministry has said that schools need to be flexible.
Like
I know, exactly. So if you can't pay your school fees, you might as well just pull a goat from your farm and take it to school, and your kids can learn. Or in the city, in the urban areas, you can actually offer to slash the fields or something like that in form of school fees.
Why are they resorting to doing
because
that?
Because there's a lot of economic hardships in that country, and parents are feeling the weight of the responsibility of paying school fees. And there are thousands of kids who need to go to school, but they can't because the parents can't afford it. So the ministry is telling the schools to be more flexible, allow parents to pay in whatever form they can, and goats and sheep and things like that might be a way of earning your education in Zimbabwe if you're a pupil. Then down here we're having some story from Ivory, still on students. We're having 4,000 rather students who have been between 2016 and 2017 have gotten pregnant while in school and being forced to step aside from the education process. That's the African News edition today. Let's move on to the next paper and see what's making headlines. We have Al Jazeera there, still telling us more on the victory in Turkey, and this happened yesterday. So the headline for that is Erdogan hails victory in Turkey's referendum. So still, of course, he would hail it because he was on that side of the argument. He felt like there was need to have more executive powers as the president, just to avoid a situation that happened a few months ago where there was a coup. And so this is going to take the country from a parliamentary system and more executive and presidential system. So a lot of decisions can be made by Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who's the president of Turkey. So that's what that referendum win meant. So the international observers are going to come out with their verdict to see whether it was, to just prove whether it was free and fair or whether the opposition is right. There was a lot of unfairness in that process that earned the yes team a win. That's the Al Jazeera website. Let's move on to the next paper and see what we have still. Al Jazeera. I think we have yesterday and today's papers mixed up, but still relevant news right there. We're having North Korea making the headline this morning, and the headline for that is North Korea says time of dictating is over. This is a message to the United States, whereby North Korea feels like the United States is has been over the years trying to intimidate that country using its military might and sanctions. And they say the Obama administration tried this and failed, and therefore they're not going to have that. We know that the vice president of that country, of the United States, yesterday said the time for strategic patience is over. So in a quick rejoinder, North Korea is saying time for being dictated upon is over, and if they keep pushing, if they feel there's going to be an attempt, an assault on their sovereignty, they're going to act and not going to be as patient as they were with the previous administrations.
There's a lot of concern in the world. I mean, is this the beginning of a possible nuclear warfare?
Yeah, exactly. Because remember that Barack Obama was really patient. He was really diplomatic in a way, but now we're having a new president who's really aggressive and abrasive and is trying to force a solution to the tensions that are in North Korea, and therefore it's like two similar leaders have met each other.
There's a meme going on social media. I mean, Trump has barely been in office 6 months. And
I
here we are
know,
looking
talking
at
about
another global
nuclear
war
wars and
possible.
things like that. So it's bringing a lot of concern on board, and people feel like, I mean, there should be some more diplomatic ways of dealing with this type of problem and tension. So that's the Al Jazeera website today. Let's move on to the next paper and see what's making headlines. We have for you right there the BBC. I don't know, Michelle, if you've seen this video.
I saw this, and this guy is absolutely crazy.
He is crazy. He has said he's a monster. He has said he snapped, and that's why he killed that poor old man. And of course, there's the hunt for him.
But he did not just kill that old man. He killed 13 people.
Yes, he has actually.
Live on Facebook.
I know, this is really sad, and he's blaming his mother and his girlfriend. I mean, really, but I think there must be some psychological problem right there.
I saw his Facebook post. He was like, I will not stop until, what was her name?
Jane Lane or something.